Yeah, they certainly have, and listening to rumors from Screens performing well against top teams. There's some good legacy players in there. I mean, old players coming through. Impaired, fantastic jungler. Also a great top laner. I really like his top lane play. And Claire, the old school immunity mid laner. I've always called him a prodigy. Very young. Awesome mechanics on this guy, and if he can ever pull it together and get the whole package going again, he is just so strong.
Yeah, we do see more bans. Kalista actually over to Tallywhacker. Fizz banned away there as well, so kind of keeping some of the more meta champions. We saw Minky's Fizz recently, but clearly respecting the power of the champion as Ezreal, and that Runeglaive gets another ban.
Yeah, exactly right. We talked about it earlier tonight. I'm not expecting to see it. If you play it, it is definitely ban-worthy, but this leaves up a contested pick. Jace, Claire played it. Christmas Trees loves to play it. Might be something that they'll look at for a first pick.
Certainly would be a good pick away here, but still strong junglers open. Alistar, probably the most common first pick, notably banned away in this one, so can't take him.
Yeah, exactly right. Maybe something like Gragas will go across to Impaired. Echo is available. We have to talk about it. It's locked in.
Yep, they're just going to take Echo straight away. You talked about Impaired. Strong player, good mechanically, good in the top lane. If it's his pick there for the Echo, he's very practiced on it.
Yeah, certainly would be. I also want to see whether Claire plays it. He was a good assassin player when he was on the immunity roster, so we'll have to see if that is something that does come through, because it's always interesting with Echo. Is he a top laner? Is he a jungler? I play him in the mid still, so we'll have to see.
I think Claire's a great highlight here as well. He can absolutely play this sort of champion in the mid lane. You mentioned assassins. Let's just maybe paint a bit more of a picture there. Claire was like a Fizz Riven only player at some point in his career.
Yeah, exactly right. It was to the point where I actually thought he was going to make the transition top lane because of how good his Riven became. And he was really like someone like a Tallywhacker who, you looked at as a huge lane bully, and he was able to get that through. People were scared to play the likes of Cassidy into him just because of how well he performed.
Yeah, nice to see Claire back into our roster again. He's definitely been playing well on that B team there for Legacies. We do see Sudden Fear. They go with Hecarim for Robo Santa, and actually going to take Caitlyn there for Energizer.
Yeah, it's an easy Freudian slip to make there, Pastry Time. Kadra did bring it back into competitive play, and Robo gets an aggressive top laner. It's something we speak about a lot of the time, but if Sudden Fear are going to perform at their best, he needs to be on a playmaker, someone that can take over the mid game.
Yeah, with the Maokai banned away, makes sense that they're going to go for Hecarim, in particular, one of his other big comfort champions that we've seen pretty much all split long. 30 seconds left, though, for Legacy to decide what they want to take away. We talked about it. Lots open still. Junglers especially wide open right now.
Yeah, bottom lane also open. We have seen a lot of resurgence of Corki in the bottom lane. Tallywhacker's Kalista is still available if he wants to be able to pick up that.
Nope, no one's banned away.
Banned. Yep. So
his
that's
Sivir actually got banned as well,
yeah.
So we're going to see a different champion from Tally.
Yeah, maybe he will default back to something like a Corgi, especially to go up against a lane bully like the Caitlyn. It's going to be difficult, and they've only got 4 seconds left.
Yeah, Flying Jew considering the Braum is going to look to take it away, and it will be Corki there for Tallywhacker. And I like this Braum. We've seen Aegian play it a couple of times, but he is another champion that got a buff, actually, in an interesting way for this patch, but just kind of got an old change reverted.
Yeah, Braum is just that weird pick that he always existed. We tweak things in and out, and then he kind of drifts between metas, Got the door that he can shove up there in front of people. The chair. Yeah. Takes a lot of damage away. Stand behind me is a good repositioning tool.
And the nice thing, the chair now does a lot more damage. So we'll see if a Flying Jew, of course, the one who came in to replace Aegian, has been playing a lot of that Braum. They even give some people the chair today.
Yeah, we'll see whether he goes for the skin even,
Please.
It's not my favorite skin.
Jew. I know, but it's so great. You can't have to open up for Atlas. He has to be able to say, give him the chair as he walks in.
He does. Atlas loves that stuff.
Well, we'll see what Sudden Fear want to take away. Looking at Nautilus as a hover, could go maybe in the top side. A support pick there as well will be not too bad against the likes of Corki. Not too long left, though, for Sudden Fear to make these picks here. 6 seconds remaining, actually, as they're taking their time with these picks. Christmas Trees, again, does still have that Jace. You have to think he's going to go for it, but it's going to be Gragas and Nautilus here.
Yeah, especially with the likes of Caitlyn already locked in. That's a good siege comp coming through. Maybe don't want to commit to all the AD damage. Need some balance in there if they do go with some AP, but so far they've got some good disengage, some people to keep Energizer safe there in the AD carry position, be able to kite back through the Nautilus Riptide, through the Gragas ultimate and the barrel, so you can see what they're putting together. It's very hard to get to the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and I wonder what Claire's going to pick here. He does have to pick the mid lane blind. I like that they're giving Christmas Trees the choice of counter picks there in the mid lane, but we do have that situation where you mentioned Claire plays Jace. Probably be fine with it as a blind pick right now.
Yeah, especially when you team it up with someone like Corki. Corki does a lot of mixed damage. That's where Jace got his popularity from. They have a similar mid-game spike coming through. Brutalizer, Manamune coming through at the same time as maybe the Trinity Force and Boots too. And then they can just group up, siege down turrets, poke you out of all these objectives. So that's where the popularity started for Jace. I feel that It has fallen away a little bit, but now seeing a resurgence, and we'll see whether that's what they go for.
Yeah, Nah being an option. We could also have Echo in the mid lane. It's the other thing to think about here. But it is going to be Jace and Nah taken for Legacy.
Yeah, all of a sudden they have a good team fight. Nah, Echo, that's a lot of layered CC. Throw a Braum ultimate across it even further, and, you know, some solid damage as well. Everyone dishes out AoE damage on this team, and if they get ahead, they have the kind of champions that can run over the top. Very high base statistics on both Echo and Nah coming through there, meaning that, yeah, they're going to be able to dominate the top side of the map if given the chance.
Yeah, and Echo's damage was something that did get toned down a little bit in this patch. Got a mana cost on that ulti now, so got to be a bit more careful, but still the same, very sticky, very tanky, very annoying jungler.
Yeah, it certainly is. Unless 100 mana, like, it's just a big reset. Get out of the team fight. It's a very good use of the ultimate. Also helps with turret dives early in the game, so we'll see what Impaired can do to get himself going, and looks like maybe Chris is hovering in his ear here, who'd be picking himself into a pseudo bad lane. You know, I'm not convinced it's something like the Varus just as much, because you can hide behind your creeps, but we'll have to see how he plays it.
Yeah, actually might be swapping things around. Patu late swaps to Janna, which means I have no idea which champion they'll be putting in the mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a mid lane Gragas, and this is something that I've been speaking about a lot, because no, maybe not. Maybe it's going to be a mid lane Hecarim.
Oh, it is going to be mid lane Hecarim. I mean, let's give them 40 more seconds to sort of clear things out, but this could be the Keen special potentially coming through.
Yeah, it certainly could. You know, we haven't seen a competitive Hecarim in quite some time. I got the pleasure of being able to shoutcast the first ever one when Keen brought it out over in the Challenger series of the North American split, so we'll see if it works.
I mean, Christmas Tree is certainly a player that has his own champion pool. He likes, you know, when he's comfortable, he plays much better. We've seen that on the Jace. I like it. It's something different. That's what Sudden Fear need.
Yeah, exactly right. They've got some disengage coming through now with Janna as well, so they've got the double reset ultimates, and we'll see whether they're able to siege up and just split push with the Hecarim and try and get it around the map.
Well, on the other side, though, you mentioned it already, Legacy's team comp, just so good. So much mid-game strength.
Yeah, maybe that's why they went with it. They didn't want to have to team fight against it, so they went with a split pushing option there in the mid lane and try and use part 2 to reset the team fights. It's something that we're going to have to be aware of as the game goes on, because in a 5v5 scenario right now, it looks like Legacy have a much stronger composition.
And you kind of highlighted already, that double AD carry with the mixed damage Corki, but still having the AD damage from the Jace. Just so much pushing power, so much strength. We already talked about Jace as being a mid-game power champion. That's going to be augmented wonderfully by the Corki Trinity Force. Yeah,
it certainly is. You know, that's where the siege comes through. It's a poke comp that can come out, and they take turrets very well. The overdrive, hyperdrive, I think, that comes out of Jace's CW, as well as the rockets and the Sheen procs from Corki, just means that they're able to rip through those structures, rip through neutral objectives, and if they ever catch anyone, they still do a lot of burst damage.
And excited for what Legacy are bringing, especially with some of their subs and just the comp they put together here. Impaired in the jungle there on the Echo is going to be something nice to watch. But you know what? We want to know what you guys think there back at home. Use the hashtag LGC win for Legacy or SF win for Sudden Fear.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, if you think that Sudden Fear with, once again, a different Keen's team comp, some disengage, a split pushing threat, that huge tank up there in the top lane, Nautilus, we're seeing a lot more play come out of him. You know, if anyone can win with something different, throw a curveball, especially when you have some subs in, maybe test the communication coming through from Legacy. Why not try it now?
I think that's a kind of a great thing for Sudden Fear to be doing here. Again, they need to show something else. I think if Christmas Trees just shows Jace moving into relegation, like, everyone's going to know, pick or ban the Jace away, and what does he have? So showing another threat's really important now.
And the other thing to point out is that Chris is a top laner. Like, he plays the mid lane now, but he plays a really good Hecarim. So watching him bring that into the mid laner, I'm sure he's still got the Hecarim mechanics up pat. Like, get the helicopter going, spin that scythe, what is it, around your head. And I'm hoping he has a really impressive performance.
And I think that actually does leave Robocenter in an interesting place. He's been the main Hecarim player for Sudden Fear, bringing him into the roster for this split. But he's going to be on Nautilus now. And this is the top lane champion we've seen a little bit of worldwide, but still kind of don't really know what top Nautilus does.
Yeah, so he survives 2v1s really well. He has great consistent CC. That's why you see it a lot with Gragas, because Gragas brings a lot of the damage into it, and Nautilus just keeps them there. And they continually CC. The slows come out from the rip side. It's a spammable ability. It can hit you 3 times. Rusty loves to point it out. Also clears out minion waves very well. So I like what certain parts of Nautilus do. The bit I'm confused is if he ever gets behind, what does he contribute to a team fight that a support Nautilus couldn't do? That's why you see him quite heavily swapped on, but we'll have to see whether Robo's able to make it work.
And I think in general, the comp here for Sudden Fear just seems to be make a big front line, have a massive back line, and like you said already, just split push.
Yeah, 100%. They've got Energizer down there. They can keep him safe, power him up with the Janna and ensure that he's getting a lot of damage done. Try and get rid of the mid-game spike. I want to see whether they sit on a Zeal and go straight for the Last Whisper to skip some of the late game, mid-game damage control that you normally see. And then Christmas Trees, he's good at flanking, can get in around the backside and try and delete the carries, or if he's allowed to, just stay in the side lanes and continue to split push.
Yeah, and on the other side there, for Legacy, playing with their substitutes, we sort of highlighted already, lots of good pushing power, good mid-game power, lots of great team fighting here as well. So I want to talk about the new players here, Claire and Impaired. They're both fantastic players. Let's start with Impaired in the jungle because he is on Echo. Recent changes now, very complicated champion to play. How do you think he's going to do in this game?
Yeah, so Echo, you know, we hit him a little bit, and it did feel like it hit mid lane a little bit more than jungle. So I'm expecting Impaired to still be okay. I think you have to take attack speed 100% of the time now if you do want to get around the jungle nice and healthy. But Impaired throughout the mid game still should be able to go Cinder Holt Sidestone, provide a lot of utility, use that W to shove people off turrets, be able to phase dive in for some good ganks. So I like where Echo's at, and it kind of fits Impaired. He's always been a skirmish-style player. His Shyvana is what made me first time pay a lot of attention to him, plays it incredibly well. So we'll have to see if he's able to contribute and farm up and get into the team fight stage.
Yeah, and then on the other side here, we've got Claire in the mid lane, a long-time player like you mentioned. We could go through the history probably all night long, but needless to say, fairly young player with a lot of experience, probably a little bit older now, but still, like he started playing when he was like 10 or whatever. So he's got a lot of experience in the scene. But just so good. I was sad not to see him play this year, so it's great to see him back now.
I 100% agree. And, you know, a player stuck around for a very long time, wasn't able to get into the OPL split and really mix it up and do what he wanted to do. Claire, for me, has always been all about his mechanics. As far as mechanically gifted players go, he is up there in the upper echelon of all OPL players, like Oceanic players, like throw him out there. Very good in the mid lane. His decision-making at times has been lacking, but we'll see whether he's been able to mature a little bit of a player and get it together and make it work.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Let's go back to the cast. So we're going to get toward the game now. Let's go back to Atlas and Rusty.
Thank you very much. Pastry time. Yes, getting toward the game as quickly as possible. We do have a little bit of a hiccup moving into this one, but we are going to be able to get it to you as soon as possible. We'll just have us chilling here for just a moment, just letting you know some more action. And I'm excited to get into this one. I'm sort of glad that Claire's picked up the Jace as well. Had his best performance in the OCS just recently on that champion for Legacy Genesis.
Yeah. Both games that he actually played the Jace, he solo killed his lane opponent and 1v1 them. Even if he lost the game, won the game, doesn't matter. He's just a very strong Jace. Claire has had a big impact in the Challenger Series in Legacy Genesis. Being the Legacy sub that he is, coming through today, playing that Jace again, expect to see a lot of success from this guy. It does raise a question, though, as to why Jace wasn't picked from Sudden Fear.
Well, obviously, because they wanted to play Hecarim mid.
Yeah.
I think.
They certainly did. Of course, wanting to play Hecarim mid is one of the unique niches that you can actually get from this Sudden Fear side. The fact that they've actually got two top lane players or an ex-top lane main in Christmas Trees playing in the mid lane now, they can flex pick very easily with top lane champions. Just put them mid. If it's successful, we have seen, as Spawn was mentioning, success from Hecarim mid lane back in the NA Challenger Series last split. Why not do it now when you are an ex-top main?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you're putting Christmas Trees, who of course was a top main, so he's more than happy there in the mid lane playing the Hecarim, and then you've got the top lane main as well from RoboCenter, as they both came over here. They both want to play top, so let's just put one of the top players in the mid lane playing a top champion. Of course, a little bit more information, ladies and gentlemen. We have to remake the game. Some runes didn't actually take effect, so a slight little bug there. A little bit of an interesting one, but we are going to have the game remade and to you as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we are going to go through this just a little bit more. I'm excited to see Energizer back on the team as well. Of course, was a sub for Sudden Fear. I believe Sudden Fear and Fortnite may have played for Fortnite
I think
last
he played
split.
for Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite last split. So stood in there for C and J.
CNJ, yes. He's in the Challenger Series also.
I should stop questioning myself. I just know. And, like, I actually had high hopes for CNJ, of course. Did manage to take a game off the Chiefs last split, so definite props to them. Just weren't able to pick up any of the other games.
Yeah, he may well be back as well, of course, CNJ, for not playing against Genesis in the Challenger Series. So a mini grudge match in and of itself.
Well, yeah, of course, more people vying for their position in the OPL one more time. But Energizer played a lot of these short-range AD carries. And Caitlyn. That was sort of like his MO. Yeah. And he played a lot of the Sivir as well. It's really interesting the fact that they've swapped Shiny for Energizer. Of course, the team very used to playing with Sivir players, so they may as well just move them again. Yeah,
and Caitlyn players alike. Of course, Shiny doing both of those very proficiently. Yeah. They've now got Energizer to fill the exact same role. Funnily enough, we'll see if he can have a really big impact working around that mid-game, or what we have seen is essentially preventing the mid-game from happening from Legacy, because if they get there completely uncontested, left to their own devices, even if the game is even around the mid-game mark, this Legacy side have the potential to completely run away with it and just snowball a victory from that.
Yeah, and assuming even gold at all stages of the game, is there a point where Sudden Fear should theoretically win a fight?
So the interesting thing between both of the teams is you have a look at Sudden Fear is that they've got a big overbearing front line of tanks, but they're also very highly capable of split pushing also. So we don't know where they're going to actually go, but relative strength is completely relative to what the team is trying to do, essentially. Legacy trying to group up, trying to siege, poke, get turrets down, get objectives, snowball those objectives into a victory. But then you have a look at the side of Sudden Fear. They want to maybe work around that strong early game that they're going to have, some smart rotational plays, get themselves some turrets, and then kind of hide.
Hide and then pop out and try and take a sneaky turret every now and again. And do you think the Christmas trees, that's going to be his job this entire game, is saying, okay, look, I'm just going to be on split push duty. He has actually picked up, interestingly enough, teleport ignite in the mid lane.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very split push heavy style of team. Of course, the home guards maybe come back from the base. One of the cool things about Hecarim mid is that though he doesn't necessarily do well in lane, he's very good at recalling with his home guards, coming back to lane and resetting. So very rarely will you actually see the Hecarim die directly in a 1v1 trade in mid lane, which is the Claire special that we know and have seen. So it'll be very interesting to see how that dynamic breaks through. But once we actually have a different mid-game scenario where Legacy are trying to push, we'll see if the tanks of Sudden Fear, the two top laners that are going to be top and bottom respectively, I would imagine, if they can teleport in and maybe dual flank.
Yeah, I'm just really scared for the ranged wave clear, or lack thereof, on the side of Sudden Fear. Because if you're going to get sieged in, a Jace and a Corki, probably the champions that you'd want to use to get that done. And they just really don't have very many answers. I guess there's Peacemaker and a Barrel, and that's what's going to deal with your backline minions. But look, it's pretty difficult for Sudden Fear.
Yeah, so that might be where the trade comes in from the side of Sudden Fear. Do they want to even deal with the siege occurring, or do they want to just fight? They've got the makings to do that. Of course, the Hecarim very good at flanking and engaging. The Nautilus very good at initiating fights, has a lot of wave clear. So maybe they just split push until Legacy group and then just all in engage. They've got the capabilities to do so.
Yeah, and there's the fact that, Tallywacker has had a very, very impressive performance on that Corki. It might be sort of about removing one of the big threats, be it Claire or be it Tallywacker, and make sure that they can continue the fight after that on the side of Sudden Fear. Of course, using that depth charge, following it up with that Onslaught of Shadows and really making things happen as far as those solo lanes are concerned. I'm worried about this power trough of the Caitlyn, though. If they're going to be trying to do that, and Caitlyn's sort of sitting back there going, I've got like a little cork gun and I'm not really doing too much here in the mid game, like, just may not have enough follow-up damage.
Yeah, it feels like the Caitlyn almost like flicking rubber bands, trying to do damage, not really having an impact.
Is this a cap gun? Oh, no.
The cool thing about the Sudden Fear comp, again, though, the way they work around their team comp is that tanks, if tanks are ahead, they stay ahead. They can bridge the Caitlyn trough. They can cover that gap and actually make it a lot easier to transition into the later game, where you'll see the Caitlyn become extremely relevant again and start doing that machine gun-like damage that we do know and expect her to do as the game progresses. In saying that, and conversely to the point that I just made, is that if tanks are behind, they stay behind. And that trough becomes infinitely larger than what it already was going to be for the Caitlyn, and not just the Caitlyn, for the rest of this Sudden Fear side. So if they can get going early, if they can work around the Caitlyn pushing down turrets, the fact that both Their mid laner and their top laner can teleport everywhere, make some big, impactful ganks. Most likely going to see 5 members in the bot lane, turn it into a fast push, perhaps make things happen there. If they can make that happen, get that lead, they're going to be fine. If they can't do that, if they fall behind at all, they're probably going to stay behind.
Yeah, it seems to me like the Sudden Fear MO is like, let's get this Caitlyn to a turret, set up. If anyone is going to come and try and prevent us from taking this down, we need the global gold advantage early on.
Yeah.
If they ever come down there, we're just going to have multiple teleports, everyone heading towards that lane, massive tanks, of course, big horse, and a dude that looks like he's from underwater. Really scary stuff, heading up, smashing people in the face. We'll see whether they can get it done, because it's going to be very difficult against Legacy, who have been on a tear recently. Of course, Minkwell going off in that top lane now with sort of a slight change in the roster, but it's not all that different. Of course, Carbon, a fantastic jungler in his own right, but Impaired, very, very strong, has been playing around the scene for a very long time. And Claire, I mean, we've thrown around all sorts of pretty powerful words about this guy. He's very good in the mid lane.
He is extremely good mechanically. We'll see if he can make a big impact in this game as they are about to break out.
Yeah, we are, of course, onto the rift for Legacy versus Sudden Fear. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen, as Claire's making his way towards this one. Sudden Fear actually grouping up. Let's see whether they can get anything happening very early in this game.
The greatest J skin ever, too.
Which one?
That's up for debate.
Did you say Debonair?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my goodness. We are getting some very severe feedback from our producer, who's saying Full Metal Jace, most definitely the best one. I think it's the new
As
one.
I said,
you know,
though, to be
cool
fair,
one?
up for debate.
Yeah, I like that.
Not going to debate it right now as we are commentating
I thought you said it was up for debate.
Not immediately.
Rusty?
We'll save it till after.
Well, we may actually find some people discovered here, as RoboSanta took a little bit of health there from some cheeky poke. Not entirely sure who managed to get that off, whether it was a shock blast or a Foss bomb, something like that. But Legacy do dodge away from the entire team of Sudden Fear, who just get some early vision down.
Yeah, early vision placed, of course, potentially looking for their own 2v1. I think they'll be content with the 2v2. But Legacy, I guess trying to avoid Legacy from doing it themselves. Very smart and very strong early map movements can actually give Legacy that early game lead. And it also put Christmas trees into a direct 1v1, which isn't necessarily easy by any means.
You can see RoboSanta actually moving over that ward. Doesn't get pinged out. We'll see whether Legacy have figured it out just yet. Legacy, of course, staying towards the bottom side. And it looks like standard lanes may come out of this one. And look, Spawn actually mentioned the fact that, you know, Corki into Caitlyn, not actually that bad, just considering the fact that once you do get in range to get auto attacks off, you can do a whole lot more trade damage. But what do you feel about this matchup as far as the 2v2?
It's definitely like that in the 1v1, but then you have to keep in mind that there is a Braum and a Janna as well. So the interesting part of this lane is that Braum's going to be absorbing damage, whereas Janna is preventing the Caitlyn from taking any. Whilst, whoa, yeah, that was a lot of damage. Speaking of.
Yeah, Claire just cheating a little bit. The fact that he has 2 spells at level 1. Very cheeky. Christmas Trees can only swirl his scythe around a little bit, whereas we've got leaping about shock blasts coming in. And this might be a sign of things to come, as Energizer is going to get poked out by that Winter's Bite. Tallywhacker takes a massive Peacemaker.
Yeah, so level 1, you're not really expecting the Corki Braum to have a very good time. Maybe around level 2 or 3, where all of the spells are available, they can start to get really aggressive, work around Caitlyn's Q, and actually put the shield up to prevent any damage from a direct trade. So until that stage, Caitlyn always going to have that auto attack advantage, and it takes a lot of effort for Tallywhacker to make a trade, considering Eye of the Storm is available.
Yeah, Energizer still getting the harass down as RoboSanta here in the top lane. Wet noodle fight to end all wet noodle fights, you have to think, as far as this one is concerned. Claire going very aggressive against Christmas Trees, though. Of course, the Ignite for both sides hasn't been used. Claire unable to find it. But, you know, the message has been sent there in the mid lane.
Well and truly, it is not easy for a Hecarim to stay in a lane this early, that is for certain, especially against Jace, who, once he starts getting those levels, has so many spell rotations that he can use. The Hammer form actually giving mana back as well, going to help in terms of relative sustain.
Yeah, Energizer actually playing super far up in this lane, understands that he has a little bit of control here, uses the net, but Unbreakable going to stop the Peacemaker. Energizer creating enough distance for himself there, as RoboSanta's taken a bunch of damage here on the top side of the map. Uses the Dredge line just to clear out a minion, and may need to teleport back to this lane. Energizer now, the Storm on top, Flying Dew did eat a cupcake. It is going to be fine. Christmas Trees just makes his way back to lane.
Yeah, teleporting back to the mid lane's not going to recall again until he... Well, they're fighting.
Yeah, another Unbreakable comes down from Flying Dew. Fantastic play. Yeah, well, he's Braum.
Yeah, but he ignited as well.
Well, they are definitely getting some control back in this lane, a Legacy. So Tallywacker and Flying Dew definitely doing some work. Largely on the back of Flying Dew, his Unbreakable has been brilliant, stopping the damage available from Energizer. You land a Peacemaker onto that Corki as a solo target, it's almost like lane over.
Yeah. Oh, a gank in mid.
Yeah, they're looking for Claire here. Pink Bomi, doesn't get hit as the knockback comes through, but first blood as a Pink Bomi just pops him with the W passive. In the meantime, Tallywacker goes in for the auto attack. Heel comes down. The last auto from Patu was not enough, as Impaired looking to try and get in here as well. So 2 successful ganks on 2 sides of the map.
Yeah, they find very smart ganks here. Gragas almost going down because of being knocked into the turret. A smart little play there from Claire. Not enough to save himself as his mana was non-existent. Of course, still having the flash available. A very interesting decision all in all to not use that one. In saying that, they do still find a trade into the bottom lane. They get the kills that they're looking for. Caitlyn goes down. Corki gets the kill. A big win here for Legacy's bot.
Yeah, of course, it was still a 1-for-1 trade there on the bottom side of the map with Flying Dew falling down. But like you said, with the kill distribution working out the way it did, things looking a little bit better there for Legacy. Pickaxe is going to be secured by Energizer, and it's going to be a Sheen start for Tallywacker. That's very aggressive.
It is super aggressive. Of course, looking to augment the auto attack from his repeated use of spells, trying to find some advantages in the lane, even making the Phosphorus Bomb do a little bit more damage and just ramping up in his relative strength sooner. Not going for that extra health, being very content for standing behind the Braum, who will tank it all.
Well, there's the flash. Minky Whale's going to use his as well. Gets a boomerang off. There's a cheeky little smite. And Pink Bomi is going to have to turn around. Energizer now just 1v2. Patu's going to clear out some wards. Nice little use of the Peacemaker. Gets some double dipping damage down. That was a massive alliteration. I apologize. Christmas Trees still farming here in the mid lane. Actually, he's ahead of Claire.
Yeah, level 6. Got the extra kill there. The Gragas,
That's
of course, picking that one up. Finds him some experience and advantage. And also the fact that he has the boots finish now, walks to lane very quickly compared to that of Claire. Can find an extra minion wave here and there.
There's the W down again as Patu is going to have to deal with Impaired, trying to get the stun down, doesn't find it onto the Janna, as Christmas Trees, of course, does have the ultimate available. Impaired is so dead now, as Robo Santa finds his way in. Depth charge comes through. Flying Dew can't block that one out just yet, as Minky Whale's now in on this fight. Tallywacker turns up too. Sudden Fear, they're losing their powerful members right now, as Energizer, he might be a little bit late to this party as there's 4 members converging on him. Doesn't have the flash yet, nor the heal, but Legacy going to give up trying to chase the Caitlyn. They'll just take their positive trade.
The onslaught of shadows actually completely missing just there, as Claire did flash over it. So they find themselves with a very good trade here, Legacy. All of the members rotating and grouping up to make it. Minky Whale having to teleport to the middle lane onto a minion to get to the fight. And we're going to see it again, of course, Impaired being super aggressive to try and find a kill. Christmas Tree saving his ultimate, killing him with auto attacks, and then wasting it just here as Claire walks away and then flashes behind Flying Dew with his shield available. Very smart play from Legacy. You can see Minky makes it, misses the boomerang, but they've got the numbers advantage here to clean up house. They've got Robo Santa at the end of it, and there's nothing a Pink Bomi can do. He got there a little bit too late.
Yeah, just a little bit. Energizer has reset this lane just a bit though, so still ahead, couple of CS, but 2-0 on 1 now for Tallywacker.
Yeah, being ahead in farm, not a really big deal right now, especially because she went for that early strength of the pickaxe compared to what Tally is about to buy. Already having the Sheen will be very close to that phase by having the kills and a bit of extra farm to back him up.
Yeah, Impaired going to hand over the blue buff here to Claire as well, so does of course still have the Ignite available. We'll see where the Christmas Trees finds himself sort of immortal enough in order to deal with this Jace poke. You can see that Ninja is doing some work there trying to answer it, but once Claire dives in, he's definitely able to get some health down on Christmas Tree.
Yeah, Claire having the note button as well as they're going top.
Speaking of note, Robo Santa wants none of this as Legacy. Oh, he is able to get At least a huge red blind, but Impaired able to clean up the kill in the end.
Yeah, Impaired getting the kill. Minky Whale having a lot of pressure. Of course, the ultimate wasn't available when we did pan up to the top lane. Had been used to catch the Nautilus completely out of position. Now 0-2 and 0 this Nautilus. RoboSanta having a very rough time against the Minky Whale and Impaired pressure.
Yeah, is it that important to get a Nautilus, you know, ahead though? Because
no.
I just see him as being this big tank that just wants to soak anyway, as long as he can stand in a lane and pick up some farm, which is something he's been able to do.
Well, there's many answers to that, but as we have touched on earlier, the tanks do need to be ahead to get Caitlyn through that mid-game drop. So you have a look at the side of Legacy, you see they're getting ahead, and the Nautilus is 0-2. Starting to be a big pressing issue for this Sudden Fear side.
Yeah, well, Energizer is going to clear out this bottom wave, probably looking to go back, grab himself a BF sword, continue his ability to shove waves in, and possibly get to some turrets. Sudden Fear haven't been focusing on it just yet. Oh, there's the accelerated shock blast as Claire takes some damage from the ultimate, and once again, the gank from a Pink Bomi comes out successful.
You know, you almost have to question whether he was even needed just then. The damage that Christmas Trees was putting out is phenomenal. He takes him down, and the only reason that a Pink Bomi's gank was definitely useful there is it forced Claire in a weird direction to walk towards maybe Impaired, who could not get close enough in time. So they pick up another kill in the mid lane, starting to find his advantages as they hecker him on Christmas Trees.
Yeah, Christmas Trees making things work. Of course, going back to his top lane roots does not look as difficult as it otherwise could have been. RoboSanta continuing to shove out this top lane, looking more than comfortable against Minky.
Yeah, actually ahead in farm by a sizable amount as Minky's kind of struggling to last hit under the turrets, only having that phage now. His damage starting to phase out a little bit, but he's going to be okay. He's got all of the farm that he could require, but it is a Black Cleaver.
Yeah, going for that Kindle Gem, does of course have the phage there, so he's going to be Black Cleaver first, looking for some lane control, some domination.
Lane control is more of a frozen mallet,
you reckon?
Yeah, lane control, that's looking to beat your laner outright by having the utility of slowing them down. Let your mini Gnar get all of the autos off and then just go all in with the Mega Gnar. Black Cleaver is more of a, I want to spike with my team in mid game and still be relevant because my Black Cleaver will reduce their armor for the Jace.
Well, RoboSanta not really worried at all about what Minky Whale is trying to do. Staggering blows. It's going to mean that he's stunned up for a bit, but look, wait.
Yeah, it is. Very impactful lane that we're currently observing as a whole lot of nothing happens.
Well, not a lot of nothing's happening here on the bottom side of the map as Flying Dew does have to deal with Energizer's auto attacks to his face. Stand behind me, going to get him to safety there behind Tallywhacker. Little gank there from a Pink Bomi, not finding too much, but is going to help keep this bottom lane safe. Minky Whale does make it to Mega Gnar form as Claire and Christmas Trees dueling once more.
Is that a success as the top laner to make it to Mega Gnar?
Well, I guess so.
You take your victories.
He made it all the way to Mega Gnar.
A Pink Bomi finding himself in all of the right places this game so far. He's doing so well.
Nice Howling Gale there from Patu as Flying Dew's getting a whole lot of pressure put on him. Ace in the hole was used, but just a bit tanky. Peacemaker not going to find any joy there as they're trying to turn it around. You're exactly right. Rockets coming in. Lots of extra damage. Oh, that Howling Gale was stunning as Energizer. Oh, I wouldn't have really done that if I were you. Rocket narrowly avoided there as Energizer just lists lazily to the right. Tallywhacker uses all of his mana to try and get one back.
But the fact that that was a 2v3 scenario, Legacy come out with the advantage almost. Of course, every single summoner spell used from them, they aren't exactly in the most comfortable position as the teleport's flanking.
Yeah, I wonder who it is. Christmas Tree's making his way in, does have the ultimate available, gets it on both. There's a double body slam. Sudden Fear looking to try and pick up two underneath this turret, but Minky Whale does have the Mega Gnar. Energizing going to get walloped, smacked into the wall. There goes the kill for Tally as Impaired makes his way over. Big Bomi is just like, I need a drink right now, guys.
Gonna be all right.
Okay, yeah, he's going to be fine. Just has a drink, stays in the brush, everything's okay. Christmas Tree is going to make his way out as well. Sudden Fear pick up a kill underneath the turret, lose two of their members, but it could have been worse.
That's unfortunate that they didn't find a Pink Bomi. He just kind of recalled in the bush.
I thought it was unfortunate that Sudden Fear lost their entire bottom.
Well, RoboSanta also having his teleport available. Another unfortunate feature of what has just unfolded is
there are multiple features.
Made his way into the bottom lane, didn't overcommit to the kills, was content with one. But the response from Legacy came through hard and fast. They had Impaired and Minky Whale making their way there. Of course, the Mega Gnar as he came in. The Black Cleaver finished on that guy, and he's looking to augment the Claire to be some kind of massive beast. like he isn't already.
Yeah. I actually quite like the decision. RoboSanta is going to be able to take this top lane out of turret, so they get the global gold trade.
They do. Yeah, they're still behind in gold, though, all in all. They could have found themselves with potentially a better trade from that bottom lane by overcommitting. In saying that, I've no doubt Sudden Fear made the call to let him stay top lane, not to teleport in. They only had the one teleport come through. They didn't actually find a whole lot from it. Legacy coming out ahead in kills, but the gold has, as you mentioned, reset because they get the first turret of the game.
Well, Flying Jim and Tallywhacker will see whether they can get any more aggression now that this Trinity Force has come in. Rocket's coming down under Energizer as well. Probably does want those Sorcerer's Shoes if he wants to get some meaningful damage with all of these magic-based sort of spells that he has been throwing out as harassment. See what he decides to go with. Of course, probably wants to augment as much magic as possible here in this game just because they're so AD heavy. Yeah, they've got that all-in mid-game style of comp, so maybe the Sorc Shoes will be the next option. We're kind of just waiting on that Mana Mune now, and what looks to be a Rod of Ages as well for the Echo. Yeah, that's an interesting one, as this is a full magic damage Echo. Oh, actually dashes out of the way of the Glacial Fissure, but the stun comes in. Oh, Energizer still alive. The Rocket's enough as well as Patu flashes for the shield was unnecessary. And I have no idea how Energizer survived that one. Dodges everything. Ducking, diving, getting out of all the spells. Braum's Q could not connect. Did he dip as well? I think he may have also dipped, and dove his way through that engage. Legacy, the ultimate not actually connecting with anybody as well from Flying Jew. They don't find the kill, but again, the lane control that is evident. And RoboSanta going for the big plays. Impaired trying to get in there, but Robo is enough to get this one done. Not going to get stunned up, but what happened in the top lane? As well. He's got Gragas nearby. Yeah, they're looking for it. Lots of damage from Robo. Probably wasn't expecting what was going to come back from this full AP Echo from the jungle. Oh, Chrono Break comes in, dodges a lot of what a Pink Bomi had there. Flashes over the top, picks up the kill. Might be able to get his shield up. There it is, the stun. Not available just yet as Patu comes in. Christmas Tree is going to clear it up with a helicopter maneuver. And Sudden Fear, they get a 2-for-1. But talk about making the best out of a bad situation right there. Impaired getting a kill and making a trade when he was well and truly outnumbered, using his ultimate to dodge the explosive cast and finds a trade. So smart from Impaired, but unfortunate that Minky finds himself 1v1'd by a Nautilus with a Righteous Glory. Yeah. Look, I don't... There is a reason, if you would like to hear it, is that he has a Black Cleaver. He's been completely selfless with his build to try and complement the rest of his team, but that also leaves his laning phase very wanting for more of some kind of lane-relevant resistance. I just, like, I can't see how that could happen without him taking, like, significant tower damage. Well, Nautilus isn't necessarily the kind of high-burst champion that we're used to. That was the problem that I was getting to when I was trying to suss it out. Oh, no, there's nothing right about what happened. I do have a reason to justify it, though, which makes it somewhat better. No, I like it. I like it. Thanks for that. Benefit of the doubt. Well, Rod of Ages now completed here for Impaired, as he's got, of course, the not Magus anymore. It is the Runeglaive picked up. We're going to be able to get a little bit more damage down there, but yeah, exactly right. Rod of Ages stacking up. Yeah, it's an interesting decision, of course. Echo playing for late game quite well with that AP, and yeah, playing for late game when you've got a mid-game comp, it does raise some questions. But they're making it work so far. We'll see if they can continue that, as it's not a very big gold lead. Oh, Christmas Tree's actually decided to grab himself a cute little Glacial Shroud. So not sure whether he's going for sort of preempting that Frozen Heart, just wants to get a little bit of extra armor and then he's going to go into the Trinity Force, or whether he wants an Iceborne Gauntlet. I don't think he'll go Iceborne unless he's going Black Cleaver with it. That's a very good point. Black Cleaver also an interesting decision to make. Yeah, we've seen no success on that build order. So we'll most likely look for the Frozen Heart with that Trinity Force, a very standard Hecarim build. Does need the cooldown reduction as soon as possible, and of course he's against an AD lane. Yeah. One thing I do very much like though from Legacy is the fact that they've moved their bottom lane towards the top side of the map. Braum and Corki now utilizing the fact that Corki in his power spike going to be able to get this tower down. Christmas Trees is going to use the ultimate there. Onslaught of Shadows goes down. Claire has to bunt him away as Christmas Trees wants to get over the top, doesn't. And Claire not going to burn down to that Ignite. Such a close trade, but in the end, Christmas Trees with control of the lane.
Yeah, getting control of the lane, forcing the flash out of Claire. He's taking some damage now. He won't be able to dive. And Claire can kind of stay around if he wants to get the minions, but it's a flight risk and definitely not worth it. Impaired looking, though.
Yeah, wants to try and pick up Christmas Trees. Impaired quite strong at the moment as well, as Parallel Convergence not going to find anything. Christmas Trees, you know, look, you're a little, like, man, you're not going to run as fast as a galloping stallion.
This is one of those Lee Sin moments where you hit the Sonic Wave and you want to follow it with the Resonating Strike. Echo with the Parallel Convergence with the sphere that gives him the shield.
Yep.
You need to walk into it when it's there to be popped. It's like a bubble floating in front of your face.
Yeah,
it needs to be attended.
Well, Robo Santa is definitely going to be able to clear out some minions here on this Nautilus. Want something most definitely in his skill set. Legacy are going to position around this blue buff. There's the Parallel Convergence. Explosive Cast comes down. Impaired, able to steal away the blue, I believe.
Yeah.
So Legacy coming out on top of that one and just eking out every advantage on this map. 2,500 gold, now the lead, 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, so the gold lead was very similar before they actually started getting turrets here, Legacy. They've just found themselves with a third turret and an even bigger gold lead as well as a dragon and maybe a fight.
Yeah, looking for something here as Christmas Tree's not going to get tagged by that boomerang, not going to get slowed down for now. About 80 gold away from a Trinity Force as well, as Hecarim is about getting to the point where he can do some work.
Yeah. I mean, the side of Sudden Fear is starting to get very big and tanky. They've got 2 Righteous Glorias, so they're going to be very fast when running towards the side of Legacy. A big factor in negating the potential poke and siege that they're able to output, as Claire doesn't quite make it over a wall. He belly flops into it.
Yeah, it was a bit sad. Just that was a Pink Foamy's job this game. No, Impaired actually going to get a leash on his Gromp. Very, very cute. 1-1 and 4 here for Minky Whale as he cleans out the top wave. About 3 CS in the lead. And by about, I mean exactly. Robo Santa doesn't quite have as much of an advantage up there, but double Righteous Glory picked up for Sudden Fear. We'll see whether they can make any decisive moves. Of course, this Caitlyn well and truly in her power trough.
Beyond well and truly in a power trough right now. Hasn't even got boots too. You have a look at the CS discrepancy. It is around 40, and then Corki has 3 kills compared to 0. So you have a look at the difference between them. Tallywhacker's starting to hit that big spike. They can win teamfights on the back of almost exclusively Tally right now. Energizer not going to be able to do anything at all.
No, look at this. Wave clear and poke from Legacy that's available. See if they can use it to siege down these turrets. That is what they've got to turn this into now. Try and utilize all of this extra power that they have, and especially the power spikes that are coming through from the likes of this Corki and, of course, the Jace. Jace getting towards that last Whisper, and at that point just going to be incredibly strong.
So Minky would almost want to be with the team because he has a Black Cleaver in terms of how he's going to be able to siege with them. They would almost have to all in commit. And speaking of,
yeah, Christmas Trees comes through with the Home Guard teleport, gang. Tallywhacker does need to be careful. Claire getting obliterated. Tallywhacker veered out of this fight as well. Christmas Trees going to helicopter up the Jace. Now going to need to run away, though, because Tallywhacker's doing so much damage. The shutdown comes in here as Legacy may lose their jungler. Flying Ju now in trouble as well. Double body slam from a Pink Foamy. Interesting barrel to come through as a Pink Foamy now going to pay for a Tallywhacker coming through. The Hoover that is this guy's Gatling gun is destroying Sudden Fear. And Legacy clean up 4 for 1.
Yeah, Mickey teleporting in, Legacy getting initiated on essentially Sudden Fear doing what they need to do, trying to get the fights to work in their favor. They've got that Home Guard teleport that can be used by Christmas Trees, and it was used to great effect. Claire going down very quickly. He is having a very rough game right now. But in saying that, the fight itself just so handily in favor of Legacy on the back of Tallywhacker. 5-0 and 3 right now. He is a beast.
He is most definitely a beast. Now with the Blade of the Ruined Kingdom bleeded almost towards that last Whisper as well. Tallywhacker is ahead by about 2.5 items. 1.5 items. So, yeah, Energizer is going to be trying to stall this one out for as long as possible. 6,000 gold, the lead approximately here for Legacy as we move forward in this game. 2 dragons to 0 as well. Christmas Tree's having to deal with this very annoying Minky Whale who's just pegging boomerangs left, right, and center. Just can't get to the lane.
No, he's looking to farm, just get some gold in his favor, but Minky doing his best attempt at preventing that from happening.
Yeah.
It's not going to result in kills at all, though. Of course, the Trinity Force completed from Christmas Trees. His dueling potential has increased exponentially. He's in a very comfortable position for laning phase. When Minky Whale is mini Gnar, though, it's very difficult to actually impact the lane.
Flying Jew also has a Warmog's armor.
He does.
So
that's a lot of health.
That is a lot of health, Rusty.
That'd be like 2,600 health on a roll at 24 minutes.
Yeah, that's about pretty similar to Robo Center. It's very difficult to kill. My goodness.
He has resistances from his jump, and then he has a shield.
Yeah, and then he's got that move that blocks an entire spell.
Yeah, the shield.
Yeah. Well, it's, yeah, and then he's got the stamina flag. Oh my goodness. Energizer takes half of his health here as Sudden Fear trying to start off a fight impaired right in amongst it. Everyone taking so much damage from the poke, though. Sudden Fear forced to retreat into their base. The ultimate going to be used. There's the ultimate back. Pink Bomi and Robo Santa both going to die in quick succession. Energizer now very, very frightened. Patu in amongst all of that fell down. Tallywhack is tanking a turret because he just don't care. And Energizer going to answer back with an ult.
Oh my god, that was close.
Just manages to dodge out of the shock blast. But Legacy, they get what they want. They take down the Inhibitor turret. Inhibitor going to fall as well. And these mid-game power spikes that we were talking about, just too strong for Sudden Fear.
Yeah, they don't even need to work around the siege that they are very capable of doing. They can just make a fight happen. Imped dodging the Caitlyn ultimate with his own, getting straight to the face of all of the members of Sudden Fear. They're already so low. Minky commits, flashes them, uses the ultimate, knocks them all back into his team. Very convenient. And then all of the dashes come through from Legacy. They walk over the wall, and they just clean up shop.
Yeah, now Energizer having to deal with this super creep lane. Not actually there just yet, but are going to be turning up relatively soon. Elixir of Iron now sitting in the back pocket of Minky Whale after he finishes off the Randuin's Omen. And Imped's got a Zonya's Hourglass on top of that Rod of Ages as well.
Yep.
So he's looking pretty strong on this Echo.
Too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so in a very good position in terms of damage output in Imped. He is able to throw out spells quite often and uses auto attacks as a part of his build. So Ringlaive very good in his build. The fact that he's adapted to that, though, gone for the Rod of Ages Zonias, is a very interesting build. And it's quite unique. It's got a lot of utility behind a Zonias on an Echo. We've seen a lot of mid-Echoes going for that build. It gives him a lot of armor that he does require, and then the Rod of Ages provides that help, still being a pseudo-AP tanky item. So a very smart adaptation here to the new patch.
Yeah, may actually require Sudden Fear to pick up some magic resist as well, as Christmas Trees does need to be careful. Doesn't want to get stunned up by that passive here from Flying Jew. He's going to be able to get himself to safety there, of course. Able to run pretty quick.
Yeah, Hecarim going to be fine, of course, has the Frozen Heart in a very comfortable position for team fighting. It's saying that you have a look at the side of Legacy, and it's not really a side that you want to team fight, whilst Caitlyn having that big power drop. It's going to be very difficult to now bridge the gap that Caitlyn is creating just from her innate champion dependencies of getting to late stages.
Yeah, you just need items, Rusty, and I think he's picked up a Brawler's Glove since we last checked in.
Yep, and then you have a look at Tally, he's got more items than you could imagine.
Probably sitting on a fair bit of gold here as well.
Yeah. That's a bit.
Yeah, moving around this map, sieging down these turrets. Haven't taken a Baron just yet. So 10,000 gold in the lead. No Barons taken. Minky Whale about to get to that Mega Gnar point. Pink Bomi takes about a quarter of his health. As this turret not long for the world. Energizer tanks up so much damage.
Wow.
Look at the poke from Claire, as that's going to spell the end of this Inhibitor turret. The Inhibitor going to follow almost immediately afterwards, and Sudden Fear just look like they have no answers. Well, there's a lot of super creeps in this base, and there are shock blasts smacking on the front door. Patu just doesn't want anything to do with leaving the fountain at the moment.
Now, Sudden Fear do have nice wards around the Baron area, so if there's one thing they can fall back on is that they will see them at least going to the Baron pit, and they'll be able to rotate. But with 2 inhibitors down, the only solace, again, that Sudden Fear do have is they have 2 teleports. Yep, that's nice.
2 teleports, Rusty, yeah. But apart from that, yeah, you're exactly right. Not a whole lot more, as Legacy are going to position around this Baron. We'll see whether they just take it immediately or whether they're going to bait anything. Looks like baiting has been the call, as Robo able to get some wards down. Might pay for it with his last nice. Dredgeline going to get himself out of here, but Christmas Trees teleports in, ults out, because he wants nothing to do with it. Minky Whale with, there's the ult onto Robo Santa. He's not long for the world. Super dead now for 40 seconds, as there's the Glacial Fissure. Flying Jew looking to get something started here, as Legacy just looking to scrap with everyone. The double knock up from the Howling Gale, but Not going to be enough here to save a pink Bomi. Tallywacker right into the base. Patu hasn't been that dead in quite some time. Actually, no, it might have been a few minutes.
He's been quite that dead before. Legacy have found themselves with a 3-for-0 trade. They've got the makings to maybe close this one out. Corki doing a lot of damage.
Christmas trees! Almost managed to do a lap of the Time Winder. As Legacy now just going to push forward into the base. Nexus turrets falling left, right, and center, but Legacy wants some more kills. Energizer going to fall down. Christmas trees might be the focus now, as well as Tallywack has just got so much damage as the Nexus is falling down. Impaired might be in trouble. Christmas trees attempting to get as much back as possible, but in the end, Legacy definitely secure in that second spot.
Yeah, they're well and truly now in that second place spot going for the finals. They're going to be up against third place in a very systematic closeout, even with 2 substitutes in play. You can see Tallywacker of late has really stepped up in terms of his performance, has become that carry for the side that we look to him to be, and he's just gone massive.
Yeah, 8-1 now for Corki in the OPL as well. But let's throw it back out to Pastry Time and Spawn for some little more on their analysis.
Thank you very much, Allison Rusty. And Legacy really going forward. They're another win. I think that clinches their spot now, but they've been looking good from players, honestly, for the last few weeks.
Yeah, they certainly have. You know, fumbled a game against the Chiefs. It looked like they were going to come through, maybe challenge for it, but in the end, they got overran. But that game looked very impressive. 2 subs coming through from Legacy Genesis and performing really well. I think teams know now why they are such a strong challenger team. Claire in the mid lane, so mechanically sound, but boy, did Impair go off.
Yeah, Impaired's damage, AP, Rod of Ages, Jungle Echo with a Rune Glaive. Very different to the Cinderhawk that we've sort of seen, but just all-out aggression from him.
Yeah, I certainly love that you point out the differences because he was using his ultimate offensively in some of those team fights and doing a lot of damage. I think we have a replay to actually show us exactly what this guy was doing. So if we set the tone of it, 24 minutes into the game, they're up by about 7,000 gold. So definitely an advantage. And you can see exactly what Pastry pointed out. The fact he's got a roller, the Rune Glaive, as well as the makings of his Onyas. You know, still running around with the brown bags. Doesn't need anything in that regard.
And the other thing there as well is we've got Minky has the Black Cleaver. It's going to apply all physical damage. So Wallop, I think those big Mega Gnar abilities. And then to top it off, we've got a Jace, we've got a Corki. Plenty of AD damage to supplement. You kind of see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So if we roll this one out, you see that Energizer cops a Shock Blast and wait for the ultimate. He goes back. Stop it right there. So you see 3 members just copped the AP Echo ultimate, and it was huge. He also went back through the zoning till he created, and Flying Dew is doing a great job at the front of the fight, zoning the rest of the damage. So as we continue to roll this one out, you see that Legacy, they want to follow in over the top of that. Big Wombo, Minky leaps over the wall, gets a huge ultimate, knocks 2 people back, Impair goes off, check out the damage, and Legacy, they were doing it time and time again, layering the CC effects, make sure everything comes through on top of each other, and then when you supplement it with the Black Cleaver and the damage Echo, there just was no stopping him.
Yeah, it's just such a different team fighting style. Like we look at champions like Jace, champions like Corki and think, all right, structures, pushing, rotations, poke, but they made it work with a good lead and some very aggressive item choices.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, I'm sure that they would have been looking at that and been like, how did Echo just do 3/4 of my health with a phase shift, phase dive? But that's what he was doing.
Yeah, and as it turns out, Rune Glaive and an 8-stack Rod of Ages with some more AP to come there Impaired. Really nice looking game there from the jungle sub. But we do have some more questions we've had fun all evening answering. Let's answer a couple more, Spawn. We're going to start with one here. Who is the best poke and tank support in the current meta? I really want to get good at this role. From @SaladHorse. That's a great name.
All right, so I'm going to answer this one with a little bit of a different pick and go towards more solo queuing. I really think Braum has the most impact because you want to set up around turrets with poke. Sometimes your AD carry or your mid laner doesn't really position yourself well, and you're able to stand behind, throw up that big unbreakable and stop a lot of damage going through. He has a great disengage ulti in the fact that it knocks people up, creates a slow area, and is a lane bully, which you need in solo queue. So if you're looking to play this a lot in solo queue, master the role. I think the Braum, you can't really go past. Very versatile, but poke tank specifically is just so good.
Yeah, it is. Is there any other support that maybe fulfills that role that we see maybe a bit more competitive or that has a slightly higher skill ceiling that's another champion people are aspiring towards?
So Alistair's also really good because you can't dive on top of the your AD carry because of how much displacement the guy has, as well as Nautilus. The reason I don't list them is because they're very much more melee range supports, and they do struggle being poked out by things like Corki, Ezreal that you see a little bit more in solo queue. So you have to watch out for keeping, I guess, better control over your health pool.
Yeah, just don't have the same like range capabilities effectively that Braum does that he also brings from the tanky support position. So great answer there. Cool to see how that comes through. Let's go to another one, Spawn. What else do we have today? How has casting affected your personal play? They're from Band to Ultimate.
All right, I'll answer this one. I actually live with Atlas, so as you can imagine, we play right next to each other at home. I'm going to say I'm a much louder League of Legends player than when I was before I was a caster. Very new to casting, only done it for a couple of years now, and I used to be a very quiet player. Now I am noisy as all heck.
I mean, I was always noisy, so I don't get away with that one. But for me, it sort of worked the other way, where I used to be a player, then I started casting and sort of did that a lot, actually stopped playing a lot because there was just so much stuff to cast, and casting was so fun. I find now that I like to play to help bridge my casting because, like, even if I understand the game and I've done my research, I know my players and I know my metagame, things don't fit together as neatly. It's not as smooth. The flow is just not quite there if I haven't played a couple games of League of Legends. Just sort of get the gears working.
Yeah, 100%. You also try new things as well. Gets you back on the Rift, allows you to experiment, have some fun.
Yeah, we got another question coming through as well. This time, what do you think is the defining factor in the Chiefs Esports Club's dominating success this season? From Vasily QQL. Vasiliqui? Names are really hard, man. We'll try, though.
Yeah, you tried really hard. I was going to try and help you out, but then I looked at it and I was like, I have no idea. I have an idea about the question, though. Their neutral control, their ability to lane swap now, and their overall vision is unrivaled. Couple that with the fact that the Chiefs have 5 really solid players that don't have to think about micro play because they're just that good. They play together really well. They think about macro a lot during the game. Their comms are really clear from listening to them. I think that they're a complete package, and if you do 1 or 2 things well, people can counter it. But the Chiefs, because they do everything really well, teams have to try new things, experiment against them, and then they make mistakes, which the Chiefs are fantastic at capitalizing on.
And you said the one word that I really like hearing. It's together. The Chiefs are just fantastic as a team, whether it's, getting that vision up, getting things together, making good calls, playing together, making sure the lanes are all safe, or just team fighting, honestly. The Chiefs, it's their experience for me that really wins them over.
Yeah, it certainly is. But if you go back, watch their games, vision wins game, Chiefs prove it. They ward more than any team in the OPL.
Got to get some vision, man. Yeah, we got one more question, I believe, to go. So let's get into our final one here. What was your favorite game to cast, and what made you become casters? From Nionate, I'm going to start with you.
That's 2 questions. Favorite game to cast was actually OPL, not OPL, but the Oceanic Pro League Winter. When we went over there, Minky became a huge dragon. Chiefs got knocked off. It was just so much fun. My first real big game in front of things. What made me want to cast was actually the fact that it just allowed me to, I guess, experience League of Legends more in depth, got me back involved in the scene, allowed me to, I guess, see all these amazing players travel, and it's such an awesome job to be able to get up here with Pastry, Atlas, of course, Dom as well in the LPL, and just cast awesome League of Legends.
Yeah, and for me, the short version of how I became a caster is I used to be a player, my team didn't show up to a tournament, got offered to cast someone who was streaming it instead, so that's how we started, but I had some interest in esports before then. As far as favorite games go, for a long time it was a jungle Heimininger game. If you go back and watch GSG play CJ in a final of the Amateur Korean League, that was it for a while, but it's actually a recent game, IG vs LGD Game 2, from I think sometime in this current LPL split, Echo vs Yasuo, just go watch it.
Yeah, it certainly was an amazing game. It was Rookie versus Godvi and Echo versus Yasuo, especially because Godvi took the Yasuo. That was an incredible game.
Yeah, just literally Dragon Ball Z mechanics flying across the Rift. Awesome to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was. There's a lot of good games out there now. OPL making their history, so it's just great to be a part of.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, even just tonight, but in general, the OPL brought some great moments so far. And for me, moving into playoffs now, we did, of course, get a little bit more of a picture now that the Chiefs Legacy and Dials have all won their first few